whenever you have occasion to send a card, remember a Hallmark card will best express your perfect taste, your thoughtfulness. The Hallmark Charlotte Greenwood Show. And here she is, that lovable lady of stage, screen, and radio, Charlotte Greenwood.
Thank you, Wendell. Today our story is about a boy and a girl who run off and get married.
Oh, marriage certainly makes the world go round, doesn't it, Mrs. Greenwood?
Is that what does it? Well, then I certainly would like to give it a spin. And it isn't Mrs. Greenwood, it's Miss Greenwood.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're sorry.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Charlotte Greenwood is brought to you this Sunday and every Sunday at this time by the makers of Hallmark greeting cards. Remind you that whenever you want to remember someone, you'll find a Hallmark card that says just what you want to say, the way you want to say it. So when you choose a card, look on the back for the 3 identifying words, a Hallmark card. Yes, don't forget, a Hallmark card will best express your perfect taste, your thoughtfulness. Now let's go to Lakeview, in the home of the 3 Barton youngsters whom Charlotte is bringing up. In fact, today she's brought them right up to the attic, which is the last part of the house that has to be cleaned. The little group is in concert.
Oh, Aunt Charlotte, can't we do the attic tomorrow?
Jack, I'm surprised at you. You don't hear your brother Robert complaining.
Aunt Charlotte, my back is tired from bending.
Well, I'm not tired, and I've got a lot further to bend than you have.
Sometimes I think Jack's just lazy.
I am not, Barbara. I'm growing, and I need my rest.
That's right. We mustn't stop him from growing.
There, you see, Barbara?
Yeah, you help us clean the attic now, Jack, and grow a little extra tomorrow.
Oh.
Come on, children, now let's get going.
Okay, Aunt Charlotte, you win. Hey, Bobby, let's start with this old hat box. Here, catch.
Oh, I missed. Oh, look. A hat fell out of it.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Gee, that's a funny-looking hat.
Let me see that hat a minute.
Can you imagine anyone ever wearing a thing like this?
How can you say that when you see the hats the girls are wearing today?
Well, I think the hats are pretty cute.
Cute? I wore one for 3 days before I found out I had it on upside down. Now, you take this hat. Look. It still fits.
Say, Aunt Charlotte, that looks pretty good on you. Oh, you get class hats for a slick chick.
Oh, now, Jack.
Oh, I mean it, a slick chick.
Really?
Sure.
I thought I was the hen type.
Aunt Charlotte, that's an awful goofy-looking feather.
Well, I remember a couple of girls who thought it pretty handsome.
Wait a minute. That's Mother's wedding hat.
Oh.
Why, it fits you perfectly, Aunt Charlotte.
Why shouldn't it? It was mine.
But Mother told me she wore it on her wedding day.
She did. I gave it to her 20 years ago. The earth has stopped in its path and taken root under the sun. There is no more night, no more darkness.
Oh, that's lovely, Aunt Charlotte.
Sounds like my dad wrote it.
Yes, he did, Jack. How did you know?
Well, a long time ago, I found some of the things that he wrote, and
Strange you never spoke of it.
I didn't say anything because, well, we just don't talk about the past. But the things he wrote really were beautiful.
Son, beauty is timeless, and no matter who wrote it or who thought it, it belongs to you. If you shut it out, you're only depriving yourself.
We haven't talked about Mother or Dad because, well, we tried to forget.
Children, that's no way to feel. If you're afraid the subject is too sad or painful, you needn't be. Whenever I think of your parents, and I do every time I look at your children, it gives me a warm, glowing feeling. Why, they were two of the happiest people I ever knew.
Maybe it's because we had so much fun with them.
Is that the reason you tried to forget?
Well,
Oh, now, this world would be pretty drab if everybody felt like that. Just imagine if we decided it was too sad to remember William Shakespeare.
Well, if you want to look at it that way.
Aunt Charlotte, the day Mother and Dad got married must have been a very beautiful day. She never told us about it, but I'll bet when Mary Mitchell and John Barton walked down the aisle, it must have been a perfect wedding.
Well, to quote Jack, if you want to look at it that way, and we did. Oh, there are two unimportant details I might mention, though. It was pouring rain, and George Harrison, the producer of my show, fired me.
But why?
I seem to have upset his plans. He sort of regarded Mary Mitchell, your mother, as his best girl.
You mean he was in love with Mother?
Everybody was in love with your mother. Although it was 20 years ago, the events of that day are quite vivid in my mind. Your mother was so happy, so breathless, and hatless. She never wore a hat.
Oh, Aunt Charlotte, tell us about it.
Well, it was Sunday, and it started out quiet and orderly, the way Sundays are supposed to. I was just coming home from a walk in the park. When I reached my apartment, there at the front door stood...
I've been waiting for you, Miss Greenwood. You are Miss Greenwood, of course.
Well, I'm not Jackie Coogan.
You can save your jokes for the theater. Well, really, it's amazing. You look exactly the same off the stage as you do on.
Didn't you expect me to?
No. I thought you made us to look the way you do.
There are two ways to take that, and either way, I don't get the best of it.
Miss Greenwood, I'm John Barton's mother, and I want to know if my son is in your apartment.
Why, Mrs. Barton, that is the most exciting suggestion I've heard in months.
Look, Miss Greenwood, I did not expect to find him here with you, but I did have an idea that he and that Mary Mitchell, your girlfriend, might be here.
Why are you so worried about Mary Mitchell?
Miss Greenwood, no doubt you've read about my son inheriting quite a sum of money.
Mm-hmm. You talk about your son as if he were an animated cash register. He's a wonderful boy.
I know what my son is, but when you show girls reach out for a man, you get him.
Mm-hmm. If that were true with my reach, I would have been married long ago.
Miss Greenwood, you and I aren't getting anywhere.
Quite right.
And neither will Mary Mitchell with my son, if I can help it. You're positive you don't know where they are?
Look, Mrs. Barton, I'm just a girl who sings in the show. I'm not a detective, and I haven't the slightest idea where John is.
Very well. Good day, Miss Greenwood.
Good day, Mrs. Barton. Dear me, I'm always getting mixed up in a romance. Somebody else's. Hello?
Hello, this is George.
Now, George Harrison, don't you tell me you're calling a rehearsal today, Sunday.
Where is Mary Mitchell?
Now, just a minute. What is this? National Hide-and-Go-Seek Week?
I had a date with Mary and she's not at home. If you're encouraging her in her romantic nonsense, if you are meddling in my affairs, Charlotte Greenwood, I'll cut your new high kicking specialty right out of the show.
George, if you do, I'll raise such a kick you won't have a roof on your theater to play in. Now, I haven't seen Mary since we left the theater last night. She'll show up. Now, you wait for her.
Wait for her? I had a breakfast appointment with her for 10. It is now 1 o'clock. Now, listen, Charlotte. If Mary is with that rhyming Romeo, John Barton, I'll carve him up and serve him on a platter. And if I don't hear from her in the next few minutes, I'm coming over to your place to see for myself.
Your confidence is very flattering. I can see you're the type who believes everyone guilty until proven innocent. And then you don't know.
Now, look here, Charlotte.
Now, you can't bully me, George Harrison. I know what I know, and I know Mary Mitchell is not here.
Well, she'd better not be. Goodbye.
Round two. I think I'll go in the living room and rest between rounds.
Greetings, Charlotte.
Welcome to Chateau Greenwood.
Mary! John! What, have you two been in here all this time?
Yes. Isn't this a cute surprise, Charlotte?
Oh, I just told John's mother you weren't here.
Mother, was she looking for us?
Oh, there are more people following you two than there were chasing Liza across the ice.
And you told her we weren't here?
That's what I said.
Oh, magnificent, darling.
Listen, Mary, if I want to wreck my reputation, I know more interesting ways to do it.
Oh, Charlotte, dear, you didn't do anything wrong. As far as you knew, we weren't here.
But if you knew why we were, I believe you would have said just what you did.
I would not.
Ah, yes, you did. If you really knew what Mary means to me, why, she's my world with a fence around.
For me, the earth has stopped in its path and taken roots under the sun. There's no more night, no more darkness. Knowing that, I think you would have told her just what you did.
I would not. I would have told Mrs. Barton exactly what I think. And as for that George Harrison, that jealous tyrant, I would have let him know.
Tell us about it in the car.
What car?
Yours. We're going to Connecticut right now.
To get married?
Yes. And we want you to stand up for us.
Have you ever considered that being the background at weddings can get monotonous?
Don't say that, Charlotte. You'll be carrying orange blossoms yourself before you know it.
Meanwhile, I'm left holding the smudge pot.
Oh, we need you and we want you, Charlotte.
I'll have no part of it unless...
Unless what?
Well, unless Mary wears a hat.
What?
Here, Mary, take mine.
Oh, Charlotte. Darling.
Now, we haven't any time for tears. Now, let's go.
Charlotte! Are you there, Charlotte?
George Harrison.
He's been searching the town for you at the theater and at your home.
I told him I wasn't here. Oh, now this is going to spoil everything.
Not if I can help it. Now, you wait in that other room. I'll take care of Mr. Harrison. Just a moment. I'll be right there.
Now, Charlotte, let's not waste any time. You know why I'm here.
Yes, I do, George. But it's all so sudden.
Charlotte, who is in this apartment?
We are Georgie Porgy.
Georgie Porgy.
Tootsie Wootsie.
Tootsie Wootsie.
Babesy Wabesy.
Babesy Wabesy.
George, you say the cutest thing.
Are you all right?
Well, there haven't been any complaints so far.
I told you that you could expect me.
I did, darling, but not so soon. I wanted the moonlight and soft music playing.
What goes on here? Look, my sweet, it is daytime, and I am not in the mood for music.
George, darling, you never fooled me for one moment. I've known all along you were crazy about me.
Oh, now look here, Charlotte Greenwood. Isn't this being a bit ridiculous?
I should say it is. Why should we hide our love?
I love you?
Don't say it so softly. Let's shout it from the rooftop. Come on, George. It's only 3 flights up.
Charlotte, let go of my hand.
Oh, of course, dear. You want to carry me to the roof?
Charlotte, dear, I have a surprise for you. Your new specialty isn't going to be in the new show.
It isn't?
No. In fact, you're not going to be in the new show.
Oh, how thoughtful and sweet of you.
Thoughtful and sweet?
Not wanting your wife to work? Well,
Wife!
George, let's not wait any longer. We can go to Connecticut this afternoon and get married.
Now, wait a minute. Stop trying to put something over on me.
We'll get Mary Mitchell and John Barton to stand up for us, huh? Yes, I'll call them.
Well, thank you. So that's where she is, at John Barton's home. Well, I'm going right over there and get Mary.
I didn't say they were there.
And you thought you could hide them from me. Just remember one thing. George Harrison wasn't born yesterday. So long.
Well, what do you know? George was born yesterday.
Oh, you were marvelous, Charlotte.
Terrific. But, Charlotte, your part in the show, you've been fired.
Oh, it makes no difference. A great actress can laugh things off. What am I laughing for? I've just been fired. Well, we better get going. Oh, don't tell me he's back.
Mother.
Oh, I guess this does it. Well,
You two get back in that room.
but you don't know John's mother.
Oh, you don't know Charlotte, mother. Now get back in there.
Miss Greenwood.
Coming.
Miss Greenwood.
Come in, mother.
Mother?
Would you rather have me call you Mummy?
Miss Greenwood, I am not in the habit of letting strangers become so familiar.
Oh, we're not going to be strangers very long, Mother. Your son is very fond of me. In fact, he wants me to be there when the preacher says, "Do you take this woman to be your lawful wedded wife?"
I can't believe it. You're the one.
Oh, I'm the one, all right.
But I can't think of him wanting to marry you.
Neither... Wait a minute. What did you say?
Young lady, I will never let him marry you.
Never?
No, never. You will never become Mrs. Barton.
I'll never marry him unless I get your consent.
I'm very happy to hear that.
I'm very happy to say it.
If you think John is going to marry you, you're in for an awful surprise. I'm going right home and have a heart-to-heart talk with him. Thank you for telling me all this.
Thank you for listening to all this.
Good day.
It is a good day.
Whoopee! Mary, John, you can come out now.
Mrs. Barton left?
Charlotte, you mean you've actually gotten rid of Mother?
No, she actually got rid of me. Come on, kids, we're on our way to get married. What do I mean, we?
As the war goes on, we all know that travel is growing more difficult. Friends and relatives in distant cities are not vacationing together this summer, as many did in summers past. But we needn't lose track, not while there are letters to cross the miles and cards to take us visiting in thought. The cards you'll find at your Hallmark dealers can serve as your personal magic carpet. Hallmark cards that say just what you want to say, the way you want to say it. Your card can tell some dear one that you're close to him in spite of distance. Or your card can be like a friendly hand clasp. May simply say, I'm thinking of you. Of course, there are many fine Hallmark cards for remembering friends on special days. Scores of unusual birthday messages and distinctive cards for wedding or anniversary congratulations. There are gay cheer cards, too, that will seem almost like a personal visit to some friend in the hospital. Yes, on any occasion, on any day, you can visit with your friends and dear ones by sending an appropriate Hallmark card. Hallmark cards are on display at America's finest stores. Remember, a Hallmark card will best express your perfect taste, your thoughtfulness. And now to resume our story. Charlotte has been telling the Barton children how their mother and father got married 20 years ago. At this point, the wedding party is midway between New York and Connecticut. Charlotte is at the wheel of her antiquated car, which puffs, grunts, and groans as it gropes its unwilling way through the pouring rain.
Oh, to think of the years that I wanted to play a romantic part, and now look at me. Cupid with rubbers on.
And look at me, wearing your beautiful hat in this rain.
Well, it's not raining on me, so for me it isn't raining.
John was never one to need rose-colored glasses.
You never needed them either, Mary. When you see rain, you admit it, put on your raincoat and walk right through it.
Oh, you overrate me, darling. I walked in rain for years before I owned a raincoat.
Or an umbrella.
You know, that's how I first met Charlotte. She was practically a capitalist. She had an umbrella. And a smile.
Is that all?
It was right in front of the Astor Theater.
I must have stopped traffic.
Yes, yes. I was trying to figure a way of walking to the corner without getting wet.
Oh, you seem such a little girl with such a big problem.
I had two problems. My hair and that scraggly something I called a fur collar. Whenever it rained, they both uncurled like a thirsty octopus.
You're wonderful, Mary.
Mary, I believe John thinks a girl who earns her ham sandwiches is a heroine. But it's just a matter of getting up in the morning, usually a little late, swallowing a cup of coffee, getting a nickel out of your purse, and running like mad for the bus.
Oh, Charlotte.
John, it's a pattern of life that Mary and millions of other girls follow.
Did follow. You think you'll miss it, Mary?
No, John, no. The only thing I'd ever miss would be you. It's pretty obvious now that I'm not going to do that.
Now, you see, Mary Mitchell, that's what you get for bragging. Now, I don't think Wilbur's going to make it.
I don't like digging into your past, Charlotte, but why do you call this rattletrap Wilbur?
Well, my past isn't so very far past. I'd enjoy digging Wilbur Brown up for you.
Oh, so Wilbur Brown is the man in your life.
Well, let's stick to facts. He's the man out of my life. The day I met him, I bought this car, and once around the block, I called it Wilbur.
Did Wilbur Brown rattle?
No, he quit. He was a nice fellow, Wilbur Brown, even though he was a little fat and puffy and too short for me. But then, what man isn't? Anyway, he proposed to me. You know how a man looks into your eyes and calls you darling, and then he takes you in his arms.
I certainly do.
Well, Wilbur Brown didn't do that. He turned to me sudden-like, and he said, Charlotte Greenwood, will you marry me?
And you said no.
No, I said yes, and I guess it scared him.
Oh, Kite.
Well, we have company.
Young lady, I've been following you for the last few miles.
Really? Well, I must come up here more often.
One of them smart Sunday drivers, huh? Let me see your driver's license.
Driver's license?
That is fundamentally correct, madam. Your driver's license.
I've never bothered to get one. I've always known how to drive.
Very funny, very funny. It's going to cost you $25.
$25?
That's right, 20. Hey, wait a minute. Ain't you Charlotte Greenwood?
Yes, how did you know?
Didn't I hear you singing one of George Harrison's shows?
Well, I guess you did.
Well, this makes things a little different. I've never forgotten that voice.
Ah, then there's not going to be a $25 fine?
I should say not.
Thank you.
I'm making it 50.
Oh.
Now, look, officer, I'm sure we can straighten this out.
You'll have to straighten it out with the judge.
Well, that's where I've been trying to take these two people to a judge to get them married.
Well, fluff up my toupee and call me Curly. A marriage, a nuptial.
Yes, if we can ever get to it.
Madam, Officer Breckenfelder has never been one to stop the wheels of matrimony. Follow me.
Fast as I can, lead the way.
And do you, John, take this woman, Mary, to be your lawfully wedded wife?
I do.
I now pronounce you man and wife.
Mary, darling.
I love you, John.
This is all so very beautiful.
Charlotte, what are you crying about? I'm the one who's getting married, not you.
That's what I'm crying about.
Mrs. Barton, congratulations.
Thank you, Judge.
John, that fence around your world has just gotten a new coat of paint.
And a gate. Always open to you, Charlotte.
Oh, of course, dear.
Be careful, you two. When you issue invitations to me, I accept them. Someday I'll walk through that gate.
Oh, Charlotte. Charlotte.
Well, folks, my wife and I serve tea to our bridal parties. I'd be pleased if you joined us.
That's very kind of you, Judge.
Sorry to break up the party, but I've got to get back to work. You see, I'm the practical female that all the books have not been written about.
Well, goodbye, sir.
Goodbye, Judge. Well, for goodness sake, look at John Barton.
That's the usual occurrence with grooms. They take on sort of a dreamy glow.
I'm inclined to agree with you, Judge. I believe this has been one of your better jobs.
John, say goodbye to the judge.
Huh? Oh. I beg your pardon. Goodbye, sir. It was a very inspiring ceremony.
I doubt if you heard a word of it.
Goodbye now.
John, the judge, you haven't paid him.
Oh, sure. Oh, gosh. That's funny. I thought it only happened in the movies.
Your wallet?
My wallet.
That's the trouble with a man who has 2 suits of clothes. Here you are, Judge.
Thank you very much, Miss Greenwood. Come back again.
I'll certainly try. That was 20 years ago, children. And then they came here to Lakeview and lived so very, very happily until... Well, then I did walk through that gate that was left open for me.
And Charlotte, for such a long time I've wanted to know all about them. What they were like when you were young and what they did. But I didn't have the courage to ask you. I'd always thought that you didn't talk about people who weren't here anymore.
I was aware of that, Barbara. And that's why I told you this story. You children have never asked me about your parents. But when I saw this hat, I saw clearly what your mother would have expected of me and of you. She'd want to be in your hearts, in your thoughts. Not as a memory, but as a stirring, living presence. That's your debt to her, and that's our debt to everyone who is removed from our range of vision. Oh, Barbara, dear, every life that has been lived, no matter how great or obscure, has expressed something. And life and its expression can never end. There's no surer continuance of Mary Mitchell Barton's expression than her children. And that calls for work, not tears.
Philip?
Worth it keeping her with us all. Yes? Do you think you can look at it that way?
Yes, Miss Janet.
I think I can, Aunt Charlotte. I wish I'd looked at it that way before. It's a wonderful feeling to remember your mother was young.
She wasn't much older than you then.
You know, being a child has a definite disadvantage.
Well, what could that possibly be?
You can't be at your parents' wedding.
That might be embarrassing.
I was only a baby, but I sure remember her.
I'm sure you do, Robert.
Aunt Charlotte, I was just wondering, did Dad ever pay back the money you gave the judge?
Well, Jack, your dad was a very absent-minded man.
Then I'll pay it back.
Not a chance, Jack Barton. I'm a businesswoman, and 3 kids for $2 is a pretty good bargain.
Oh, Aunt Charlotte.
Oh, children, let me breathe.
Charlotte Greenwood will be back in a moment. Meanwhile, I want to remind you again, the next time you buy a card for any occasion, look on the back for the identifying words, a Hallmark card. Hallmark. A Hallmark card. Like sterling on silver, those 3 words are your assurance of finest quality. They tell your friends you cared enough to send the very best. Yes, a Hallmark card will best express your perfect taste, your thoughtfulness. And now, Charlotte Greenwood.
Friends, Uncle Sam has asked me to tell all of you who live where the winters are cold that most fuel will be scarcer than ever next winter, and that right now is the time to order and store whatever fuel your dealer can let you have, to check heating equipment and to install insulation and prepare storm windows and doors. That's good advice. So do it now, won't you? But let me add this. Don't ever insulate your heart to keep its warmth inside. Don't hoard your goods like coal and wood, but spread it far and wide. Throw wide the windows of your heart when outward things seem drear. Let passers-by and strangers try your friendly fires of cheer. Yes, burn your fuel of kindly deeds till all enjoy its blaze. And you will find within your mind there are no winter days. And now, until next Sunday at the very same time, this is Charlotte Greenwood saying, so long, friends, until we meet again. So long, neighbor, till next Sunday, I'll just say, so long. So long.
Charlotte Greenwood Show was written by Sylvia Thalberg and Henry Garson and directed by Thomas Freebairn Smith. By special arrangement with Miss Greenwood today were Alan Reed, Isabel Randolph, Norman Field, and Miss Lorene Tuttle. Edward Ryan appeared through the courtesy of 20th Century Fox. The Hallmark Charlotte Greenwood Show came to you from Hollywood.